Sometimes we have to factor out a -1 with our greatest common factor in order to make our factors match. For instance, x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x minus 6. So just like before, we factor out the greatest common factor of our first two terms, which is x squared. So we factor that out, getting x squared times x plus 3 just like before, leaving the second two terms the same for now. Now we look at the greatest common factor of the second two terms, and we factor that out. Well, notice, if we just factor out a 2, what's going to happen? We'll get x squared times x plus 3 plus 2 times negative x minus 3. And our factors here don't actually match, which means we won't be able to factor out a common factor in the next step. However, if instead of factoring out a 2, we factor out a -2, then we can get our factors to match up. So factoring out a -2, well, when we factor a -2 out of -2x, we're left with an x. And when we factor a -2 out of -6, we're left with a +3. And now we have the two matching factors in our terms. So now we can factor out the x plus 3 just like before. And when we factor an x plus 3 out of x squared times x plus 3, we're left with x squared. When we factor an x plus 3 out of -2 times x plus 3, we're left with -2. And that's our factoring.